The last little segment I wanted to get to here, which is some of the news regarding the Big Ten and MSU. So first was a tweet from Alejandro Zuniga. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I don't know who this person is, but apparently they tweeted this out. So starting in 2024, the Big Ten football championship game will feature the top two teams overall in the conference standings. At the end of the regular season, no more divisions. Now, I don't know if I'm in the minority here. I probably am. I don't hate divisions. I know there's a lot of people in every league who just, get rid of the divisions, just make it's so ridiculous. My thing is the divisions add a little bit of spice, right? It adds it so that it's not, and I get what people are saying, right? Obviously, you want the best teams in the league to be playing in any championship, right? Or playing for a championship. You don't want, the 8 and 9 Bucks to go in and get creamed in the playoffs, because that's just not very fun. Were they 8 and 9? Yeah, they were 8 and 9. Or whatever, what have you. But on the flip side, my thing with the divisions is it adds some sort of, what's the word? I don't know, like spice. I don't know. It makes it so that it's not just like so there's only one way to do things, right? You can be that kind of underdog team who sneaks into the playoffs and then out of nowhere just turns it on at the right point. And you get those fun little storylines. And just in terms of, I know people have totally just thrown this out of the window. In terms of geography, you're going to get teams from all over the country with the division. You just are. You're not going to get, 10 New York teams. I don't know. I know that's not necessarily always the case, and that's usually not the case, but you know what I mean. You're not going to get, teams all from the South or all from the North or whatever part of the country is just better with the divisions. It at least enforces that, you're going to have some level of diversity. And I think the NBA actually can serve as a bit of a foil against what I'm saying because, they pretty much the divisions in that are pretty much meaningless. They're meaningful in terms of seeding, but with the play-in and everything, you pretty much do get teams from all over. But with the divisions, you guarantee that, and that's just my point. So I don't really care so much. I'm not like this is terrible. I can't believe they get rid of divisions. I'm just saying I think like this narrative that people have about how divisions need to be totally destroyed. They're so useless, and I don't like them at all. I'm just not on that board. But the thing that I found interesting, so they also posted this on the Big Ten website. So 2024 and 2025 two play opponents. So let me read this directly from their website. Under the new Flex Protect Plus scheduling model, schools have two play opponents. They'll be played both home and away in 2024 and 2025, including protected opponents that will be played annually beyond the 2025 season. So you can't see it, but the two play opponents are in blue and the protected opponents are in white. And like I said, the two play opponents will be played both home and away in 2024 and 2025. And the protected opponents will be played annually beyond the 2025 season. So from just basically for as much as possible. But I believe they pointed out, I don't know if it's in this article. I'm pretty sure it is, but I can't see if I can find it really quickly. Yeah, here. The guaranteed annual protection matchups, blah, 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 blah. The other two play opponents for each member institution will change every 2 years. So basically, the teams that are in blue, the two play opponents, those are teams that you can flip out every 2 years. So just going through the Big Ten here. I'm not gonna go through the whole Big Ten. That's a lot of teams, and I'd have to do a lot of talking. I'll go over Michigan and Michigan State. So Michigan, 2024, their two play opponent, they have just one. That is the University of Maryland. Go Terps. And then their protected opponents are Michigan State and Ohio State, obviously. Their two biggest rivals in the Big Ten. Makes perfect sense. The Maryland is kind of interesting. I mean, Maryland is kind of an interesting football team. They're usually not all that good, but they got Baby Tua. So I don't know. Maybe Baby Tua will show things, will showcase his stuff this year. But the Michigan State one, this one I find to be interesting. So Michigan is obviously our protected opponent because they protected. You already heard that. But we have two play opponents, and that is the University of Indiana, go Hoosiers, and the University or Penn State University, go Nittany Lions. So Indiana, I think both of these are some sort of trophies for MSU. I think it was Penn State is the land grant, and Indiana is something like a bowl or something. I don't remember what it is. It's something interesting. And by interesting I mean dumb, but that's not here nor there. I was just like I said when I talked about the divisions, I thought it was kind of. I'm not like super opposed, but I'm also not like super enthused. I kind of like this like 2-play or protected opponents. I think that's kind of fun. Because obviously with the divisions pretty much being no more, it means that, hey, we're gonna find a team, we're gonna play them for 2 years. But the other thing that I wanted to throw in regarding this, because I just noticed this, obviously UCLA and USC coming into the Big Ten, they also have two play opponents and one protected opponent. Granted, the protected opponent is one another. Makes sense, USC, UCLA. But their other opponents, so Nebraska and Rutgers for UCLA, and then Penn State and Wisconsin for USC. Now, I think the Penn State, Wisconsin for USC, I think that's kind of interesting. Because, look, USC is a pretty good program. They're probably the team that, if I were to say the team that I think could make the biggest impact on the Big Ten, joining, compared to all the other teams that have joined the Big Ten in recent memory, I think they're the one that could have the biggest impact. I think they are a respectable team. I think they're a team that could be competing for Big Ten championships, which is so weird to think about, but I think it's possible. UCLA, they're a decent team, but we'll see what ends up happening with them. I think, unfortunately, I feel like UCLA is going to go the way of, say, Nebraska or Maryland, where we add them and they just are not the team that historically they might have been. But I don't know. I'd love to be proven wrong because I would like to have more good teams in the Big Ten. That would be fun. That would be interesting. But I don't know. I think this is. I like the 2-play opponents and I like the protected opponent. I'm assuming the protected opponent is basically for until they want out, but the 2-play opponent to me is much more interesting because it's like, okay, years 2026, we're going to get another new set of 2-play opponents. And maybe, I don't know, Michigan State, I don't know where they're going to be. Maybe we throw in Northwestern or Purdue or UCLA or one of these other newer teams. But this is all, this is all a couple of years down the line. This is not this year. This will be the following year. But I thought it was kind of an interesting little twist on the scheduling. I thought it was kind of cool. That's all I have to say about that. Michigan State playing, what was it, Penn State and Indiana for the next 2 years, home and away. We've been playing them for pretty much every year for a long time anyway, so there's not going to be any immediate change. But I like this idea. I think it allows for some sense of, newness with the Big Ten and scheduling. And I already have my own problems with college football scheduling in general, in that it happens way too early and way too far in advance. But yeah, what are you going to do?